VA is proposing to take away the automatic 50% for CPAP use and sleep apnea claims, and they want to end tinnitus as a standalone 10% condition. That's two of the most common claims veterans file, and spoiler alert, it's not going to get any easier. Stick around to the end and I'll explain grandfathering, why the VA can't just cut your rating when the book changes, and what it means when a condition is marked as static. Plus, I'll tell you how to tell if it is. I'm Chris Mendham with Operation Veterans Edge. I don't even know how to sensationalize things, so I'm just going to give you the facts. Also, I was a minor league baseball mascot once, which is about as glamorous as it sounds. VA's proposed updates to the rating schedule covering respiratory and auditory conditions. The first notice was February 15, 2022 in 87 FR 8474. The last supplemental notice was September 12, 2024, focused on respiratory rules. The core, sleep apnea, and tinnitus changes are still on the table. And if you want the breakdown on the pending mental health changes, you can find that in the video I'm going to leave right here. Today, CPAP equals 50%. Proposed, no more automatic 50. Ratings would depend on treatment effectiveness, residual symptoms, and tolerance. In other words, the VA cares less about the device itself and more about what it does for you or what it doesn't fix. Practical examples here include CPAP compliance but persistent, severe daytime sleepiness. Evidence supports higher level. That means if you use the CPAP and you still have daytime sleepiness, you may get a higher rating. Documented arrhythmias or oxygen desats persisting with therapy. Treatment intolerance despite adjustments. That means like mask anxiety, aphasia, skin breakdown. You might have some kind of claustrophobia issue. Who knows? All kinds of possibilities there. The point is you need to have that documented by a doctor or a healthcare provider. Central or complex sleep apnea not corrected by a CPAP. Residual functional issues including cognitive slowdown, drowsy driving, and duty restrictions or work restrictions because of your sleepiness. What you need to gather in this case, you need to make sure you've still got your sleep apnea. You need to make sure that you collect your device data, kind of like when you keep a symptom log for your migraines and headaches. You need to keep a symptom log for your CPAP use and how effective it is. Clinical notes from physicians every time you go get seen for your sleep apnea related residuals, maybe some cardio, neuro evaluations tied to sleep apnea. All the stuff that you can get is going to be important here. Now on to tinnitus. The proposed changes for tinnitus in plain English. Today, tinnitus gets you 10% flat. The proposal, tinnitus will only count as a symptom of another ear condition like hearing loss or Meniere's disease. That means no more automatic standalone 10%. Some speculate if you have 0% hearing loss, you'd still get 10% for tinnitus if you have tinnitus with the hearing loss. That's not in the rule text. The Federal Register suggests tinnitus would be folded onto the underlying conditions evaluation. We'll have to wait and see for final implementation to know if that exception survives. If sleep apnea or tinnitus is part of your claim, DM me at Operation Veterans Edge, send me a note, book a discovery call. We'll audit your file, flag what evidence is missing, and give you a step-by-step strategy before these changes hit. We'll also help you in development of those lay statements and ensuring that you have a solid nexus, so get in touch. You don't get cut just because the VA wrote the book. But if you're filing new after the rule drops, you'll live under the new criteria. Timing and documentation matter. That means you should contact me today to get your claim rolling. All right, big payoff. I asked you to stay around to the end. You did, so here it is. So grandfathering. When the VA changes the schedule, they can't reduce your rating just because of the change. They would need medical evidence showing actual improvement. That's in 38 CFR section 3.951A. Static conditions. This means VA doesn't expect improvement, so usually no routine re-exams. For ratings that have been stable for 5 or more years, that requires evidence of sustained improvement to reduce. This is in section 3.34. Ratings stable for 5 or more years require evidence of sustained improvement to get a reduction. This is found in 38 CFR section 3.344. Extra protections. After 10 years of service connection, it's hard to sever. Section 3.957. After 20 years, your rating is locked in absent of fraud. Section 3.951. All right, so grandfathered in means your current rating isn't cut just because the rules change. Static means that the VA isn't chasing you for re-exams, and the longer you're stable, the stronger your protections. All right, to wrap it up, sleep apnea. CPAP is no longer going to be an automatic 50%. Focus will shift to treatment response. Tinnitus. It's no longer going to be a standalone 10%. It's all proposed to end. It's all going to be folded into other ear diagnoses. For grandfathering, your current rating is safe from book changes. For static conditions, this means stability equals protection. You've got marks at the 5-year mark, the 10-year mark, and the 20-year mark. At Operation Veterans Edge, we help you stack the record so your file is bulletproof. Sleep studies, compliance data, audiology, Nexus. If you're dealing with sleep apnea, tinnitus, or any other secondary claims or any claims, DM us today because it's your claim and it's our mission.